He's Ferguson to you now. Patrick Vieira, your great rival, is Patrick in the book. A lot's changed since you
I'm being quite polite by saying Ferguson, let me tell you. I could think of a lot worse things to say.
He said in his book you couldn't accept that you weren't the Roy Keane of old, that it was a team in transition, and you tried to address that in the book as well.
Well, that's nonsense, obviously. I was 34 years of age. Of course I wasn't going to be the player I was when I was 26, but thinking I didn't know my boundaries and all, I thought I was like, I think he might have said, I don't know if I'm right or not, I was trying to manage the dressing room or run the dressing room. Yeah, dead right I was. That's what you do when you become a senior player, just you get these responsibilities thrown at you. Yeah, no, I knew my boundaries. I knew what I was at. I wasn't expecting a 5-year deal coming through, put it that way. I was 34. But the way I left disappointed me because I think that Ferguson and Gill and United should have done better by me. Absolutely, for sure. And I knew that was the game.
The two of you worked so well together, brought so much success.
Well, business, wasn't it?
What happened then was Brian Kidd went to Blackburn Rovers as a manager, and Dave Fever went there as his physio. Yeah. So Rob Swire got the head job, and they subsequently moved from the Cliff to Carrington. Yeah. And of course they'd put a gym in, quite a big gym site at Carrington, and they needed somebody to run it. I first went in and trained with the youth team, and then I was asked to train Roy Keane. Now, you know, I'd never trained top-line players, you know, somebody in, you know, like Roy. But I was asked to train him. I was asked to help in his rehabilitation with Rob Swire. Yeah. And so I had an interview with him before I would train him to make sure I knew what he'd been doing and what he was hoping to do and what he thought of different types of training. Yeah. And he actually told me that he used to box. And of course, I had a boxing club at my gym. Right. I'd had it for 14 years. So I said, oh, fantastic, you know, so would you fancy using some boxing techniques that I have actually developed for football? He said, yeah. So we went down into the gym, when it was appropriate, of course, during his rehab, and we did some boxing training. And of course, whenever Roy's in the gym, everybody wants to be there, you know, so players were coming in and watching him, and he looked magnificent when he's boxing.
On the pants,
yeah,
sort
exactly.
Of essentially work.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So we're not talking about getting in a ring and punching each other. No, exactly. So, but they could see the relevance that I was working with Roy, how that would be used in football. And so the likes of Wes Brown and Gary Neville and then Ollie Gunner and people like that, they all had a look at it and said, oh, I want to have a go. And then I introduced the weightlifting and some strength training. And it just really built up, and I got a really good feeling in the gym. I was always in the gym. That was one of the most important things for me, and same as it is here. Yeah. I've always got my chair in the gym. Yeah. This tendency to have offices and all the rest of it is fantastic. But if you want to really learn about people, you need to be in the gym, because they don't only come during a specific training session. They'll come and see you when they feel that they're lacking on something that they need to work on their own.
Roy Keane and the boxing. Football and boxing are sort of inextricably linked in a way. You always have boxers that are big football fans, and sometimes you hear footballers who boxed when they were younger. Keane being an example.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Wayne Rooney is someone that's boxed as well. When you actually, just purely because I've seen a picture of you on the mitts with Scholesy out in the gym as well. Yeah. I mean, it sounds like a daft question. Technically, who do you think actually could have been a professional boxer from the technique you saw on the pads?
Roy. Oh, he's a powerful lad, but a lot of it's there. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. He can really focus, and he's a powerful lad. You know.
Yeah. Could you tell when you're on the mitts?
That was one of the things I said to him, because I asked him, you know, where did you box? Have you had any actual fights? It's all right sparring and doing some training, but he said, I've had 4 and I've won the 4. And I said, well, I'll be able to see that when I start training you. So he just looked me in the eye and said, yeah, well, have a look. And you could see, if he'd have carried on boxing, he'd have probably been a very, very good boxer, I would imagine.
So sort of national title level, or you just never know, do you?
Never know.
World title level, but he could have made a professional boxer.
I think probably so, yeah.